Bonjour, my name is SiddARTha Beth Pierce, and I am honored to make this video in honor of the artist in you. I am a mother, an artist, a poet, and an educator. You can see some of the works that I will not show you today at www.ubiquitygallery.com, and you can read my poetry, over 300 poems, at www.writerscafe.org. Now, I would like to take this opportunity to share with you some of my art creations here at my home. I will begin with Spring Fling. This is a mixed media painting with iris buds, petals, and leaves embedded in the painting. Here's a detail. Along the same vein, another mixed media painting I have here in the living room is Tomato Rose with rose petals, straw, and bluebells embedded in it. Tomato Rose. Another Spring Breeze, rose petals, forsythia, buttercups, and straw. Spring Breeze. Here I have Pollock Spray in honor of Jackson Pollock's unfortunate early demise. This has leaves, bluebells, other flowers, and paint. Likewise, I have to share with you today Dogwood Dell, which has pink dogwood embedded in the paint. These are all from 2008 and will not fade in color as long as they are kept out of direct sunlight. Dogwood is our state flower, our state tree here in Virginia. Likewise, I am a sculptress. I will share with you here Temple, which is antique candy and cough drop molds, wax cough drop molds and candy molds that are embedded on, attached to painted canvas. If they're placed in the window, they will not melt. They're very strong, and the light shines through them beautifully, through the painted canvas. You can see hearts, shamrocks, shells, all sorts of things like that. Another sculpture here of the same material and scented wax is Seated Buddha. Next to it is a photograph of a sculpture entitled Tipple, which is made of wine corks. It's 3 feet long, and my son, as a child, very young child, used to use it as a seesaw. Then we have Vanilla Cafe, which is made of metal, scented rope and scented wax. Along that same vein is a sculpture, Floror, pictured here with my father at my Virginia State University Artist in Residence and Associate Professorship, which was featured on PBS. This is a 5.5-foot sculpture. Likewise, we have Shanty 2, which is made again of melted wax and candy and cough drop molds. Here we have some Civil War remnants created into a sculpture with moss, and another remnants of Civil War fragments. Shanty 1 is a welded sculpture I'll share with you now. I was lucky enough to study under John McCarty, a tenured professor at University of Maryland. Studied with him in his studio for a year in Delaplane, Virginia, out in the country. He taught me how to weld and repair sculptures. This is Shanty 1. Welded steel. I attended George Mason University undergraduate with a studio art degree, then Virginia's Commonwealth University for a master's degree, and then went on to PhD studies in African and contemporary art. I'm all but dissertation now. Here we have the Purple Rose of Cairo, which is a pastel on paper from 2010. And likewise, Siamese, pardon the reflection due to it being behind glass. This is Siamese, a pastel on paper, also from 2010. And here we have Tulips from my undergraduate studies. This work was created in 1995. it is an acrylic on paper. One of my favorite works that was an honorable mention at the Petersburg Regional Art Center in Petersburg, Virginia is A Modest Proposal. This is named after Jonathan Swift's satire of the same name, wherein he said the Irish should eat their children in order to survive the Irish potato famine, wherein the English were starving the Irish. A satire. And this piece is also a pastel on paper. It's entitled Kant, K-A-N-T, after the philosopher Immanuel Kant, wherein he said, "The whole is greater than the sum of its parts." I'm also a printmaker. This is an etching entitled Eden from my undergraduate studies, a self-portrait. I also create a great deal of monotypes. I like making one print. And this is a series entitled Printemps, which is spring, on Francais and French. This is a series of 5 that is framed together. Show you a little close-up there. Along the same vein, we have some cellular imagery, Mother Nature, also monotype. And as a little treat, here's my son's Mother's Day gift to me. You see that he is also an artist and a poet. This is Galleon that he painted out of watercolors. I'm very proud of it. Here we have, for my undergraduate studies, O'Keeffe's Flame. Unfortunately, there's a bad reflection. I'm sorry about that. In honor of Georgia O'Keeffe's. There's a bit more texture to this work than hers, but it's in honor of her work. 1995. Here, for my master's studies, you'll find a collograph plate entitled L'Enfant, which means child. This is Tapestry. You can see the biological references here, the microscopic and the macroscopic. It's an Adobe Photoshop painting on watercolor paper. Same medium, but much larger scale work is In the Beginning and the End. This is again is Adobe Photoshop painting on watercolor paper. Finally, I'll close with these other monotypes with pastels added. I was lucky enough to hear from my professor at Virginia's Commonwealth University in Richmond, Virginia, that these reminded him of Mozart, who you will hear playing in the background. This is Whispers and Ripple. Thank you for this opportunity. I very much look forward to being involved with your organization. God bless you all. Love and light.